proceed with my judgment and sentence in this case, I must address some of the statements made by the defendant in this case to the court. This court has provided the defendant with very competent representation during the entire course of this action. Actually, the attorneys representing the defendant in this proceeding and in this trial, his last counsel, are very competent. We're very zealous in the representation of the defendant. Couldn't have asked for better attorneys. The court made its decision based on all the evidence that was presented in this case. The court's ruling was based on facts. I find no legal basis to grant any of the defendant's motions for judgment of acquittal or new trial if that was the intent of some of his statements as a pro se motion.
Everybody, welcome in. Let's get into Breasia-Terrell's final chapter, part 2. And with that, let's get into it. Before we get into Henry Earl Dinkin's sentencing and Aisha's statement, let's talk about July 9th, 2020, before Henry Earl Dinkins came back to the house at 3:30 a.m. with Breasia outside. I also found it very interesting that I recorded the video part 1 before I actually listened to the judge and his sentencing. But him and I were definitely on the same page. So let's go back for a minute, because this is the part that confuses me. Sometime before 12 a.m., Andrea Culberson, Henry Earl's Dinkin girlfriend at the time, said she fell asleep in the living room before midnight. Dinkins was on the couch at the apartment, and Breasia and her brother, Dee, were asleep in the bedroom. 2:13 a.m., a dark-colored sedan northbound on Schmidt Road passes Jack's Brake and alignment at 2160 West River Drive. 2:29 a.m., headlights leaving a lot of 743 Schmidt Road, where the defendant's motorhome is parked. That was captured from the Devon self-storage area, 2070 West River Drive. 2:50 to 2:31, the dark-colored sedan southbound on Schmidt Road and then returns northbound on Schmidt Road from Jack's Brake camera. At 2:49 a.m., the dark-colored sedan leaving the lot at 743 Schmidt Road. 2:51 to 2:53 a.m., the vehicle enters Credit Island and leaves Credit Island seen from a camera from a residence on River Drive. And then at 3 a.m. is when Andrea woke up and noticed that Henry and Bree were gone. Obviously, Breasia was with him at this time that he was over at the motorhome. And I don't know what happened and why he drove Breasia back to the apartment. Maybe she was making threats that she was going to tell on him, because Breasia was the big sister, and if you listen to the trial, you know that she was a tattletale. Fly high, Breasia. So what happened? Did Henry Earl Dinkins do something to her and she made a threat? And then he went to the house and got the gun? Why was he wiping a machete off with bleach? All the what ifs. Like, why was she in the parking lot at the apartment? Why didn't she run? Just, there's so many what ifs in this case, and I hope you rot in hell, Henry Earl Dinkins. Let's get into the first part, when the judge found Henry Earl Dinkins guilty, and watch the judge and tell me your thoughts on the judge's reaction. Oh, wait a second. Let's go back. Is that actually Henry Earl Dinkins' a motorhome? Let me find a picture of that motorhome. I don't think the front is the same. The street shot is actually from 2021, and no, that is not the RV. How many people have their RVs back there? Poor Breasia, look at where he brought her. He really is a monster. Ugh, I just can't stand Henry Earl Dinkins. Back to the judge. Let's watch this one part where he was actually giving Henry Earl Dinkins his verdict before sentencing. And he took his time with this case. And at the beginning, he reminded me of a judge off a 90s sitcom. And then he did this.
These findings by the court are overwhelmingly supported by all the evidence provided by the state's witnesses. particularly the brave testimony provided by DL. And his statements to law enforcement. Additionally, the testimony of Brink offered through his discovery deposition and his statements made to police. All of this was further supported by the testimony.
Breasia-Terrell's story definitely tugged at the judge's heartstrings. Very emotional. Let's go ahead and listen to what Aisha had to say to Henry Dinkins before his sentencing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the monster's cry for how unfair he was treated. Never once does he show remorse. Does he say anything about Breasia, that he's sorry? Nothing. I truly hope that he gets what he deserves in open population. I know it's mean, but I cannot stand Henry Earl Dinkins. I mean, he's just an absolute a monster.
Your Honor, my name is Aisha Lankford, as I said before, mother of Breasia-Terrell. Before I continue, I'd like to thank the court for providing me the opportunity for me to speak today. July 9th, 2020, exactly 3 years ago, since the last time I saw my baby girl. When I dropped her clothes off for her in DL after I got off work and showered and headed over to the Jersey Ridge Apartments complex. Once I got outside the complex, Breasia running out, smiling as she always does, a smile that can light up a room, any room. We spoke for a few minutes while she held her dog, Chloe. She said she loved me, and I watched her run around to the apartment complex while her lovely locks bounced away around 6:30-ish. Those are my last words with my baby girl. So I wrapped my mental around her face. Her last words, she said to me, the amount of pain I felt and feel that no mom should ever have to feel, because man, that stuff hurt real bad in a different spot. I didn't even know it existed until you, Henry Dinkins, changed that for me. Broke my trust and emotions I had the day you took my baby girl from me and just gunned her down like she was nothing and left her and never said a word at all. It's really painful that a statement could bring so much anger. I have a number of questions for you, Henry Dinkins, surrounding that night that played through my mind every day. Did she want me? Was she scared? Did she see those gunshots coming? Did you shoot her while she was trying to get away? Did she scream for help? Did she beg you to stop? Did you see in her face when she realized she was shot the first time? What was her last words? Did you stay and watch my baby die? How long did she suffer? Did you watch the life leave from her beautiful hazel eyes? What did you do to my son? Why? Do you know the answers to any of these questions I asked, huh? Henry Dinkins, while you sit in this courtroom as if this shit don't hurt you. Watching you during these proceedings, that isn't right. You sit there with smiles and chatter during sensitive things and then try to speak to me when you never once spoke to me after July 14, 2020. You remember when I saw you in Scott County Jail telling me you didn't do this, but why you haven't said nothing then? Why? Henry Dinkins, closure doesn't exist here in this case. Justice doesn't exist here in this case. You didn't just take away my baby's life. You didn't just take away my baby's life. You took away everything from me. My family's sense of security, laughs, health, and potential. Potential for Breasia to be someone's wife. The potential to be a mother, a college graduate, prom, everything. Oh, my baby girl, Henry. I went from believing I wasn't the best mom, but made things happen, but best I could, to downing myself day in and day out as, what kind of person am I not to have protected my daughter? I've broken myself down many a times over and over, analyzing text messages, calls, and conversations about everything, trying to figure out what I could have done differently. I watched my oldest son completely lose his childhood and be the cast of being the man of the house for me, because I was truly broken the day I got the call stating they found my daughter. I'll never forget, March 22nd, 2021. All around 7:30 p.m. They told me they had information I have been waiting on. So that night, my tummy was in knots, and all I did was cry, and I held my pillow so tight, trying to hurry the nightfall so I could get up, so I could rush the kids to school and get on that highway near DeWitt. March 23rd, 2021. Once I got out there, it was a feeling I can't even describe because it was the snuggle on my heart. Mentally, I was going insane because that was a different feeling in my body I wasn't used to. I kept myself covered from the media footage that was other while I shed so many tears inside because I couldn't describe that my daughter laid behind those squad cars and big RV man. I couldn't do nothing to save her. All I got was a glimpse of a damn blue bag, man, that crushed my whole soul. I promise, broke me down, and still am. And my son commit to every hurt need I need, and still does. I watched my youngest baby become unrecognizable. At times, with the amount of anger he sits and holds to from this trauma you put him through, he's so hurt he has no idea how to even understand or even cope with the loss of his best friend, partner in crime, his sister, who helped him through so much of his life. He would too overcome this and gain himself back and be somebody. He will not be what you have put him through or even made him sit through. We are suffering from so much with anxiety and depression at the top of our list. I can't work at times because all the trauma on top of the world of things I encounter at most jobs, the social media crap pushed me into a shell I haven't been able to shake quite yet. Our lives changed. 3 years went past us with no stop right before our eyes. And here we are in this courtroom seeking the justice she deserved so she could be laid to rest properly. Still yet, this all feel like a movie. I haven't changed the channel to because this can't just be it. Like, that's all. That's the piece that sinks in and still hurt because I thought hearing you get a life sentence with no possibility of parole will help me sleep at night. And it just doesn't, because she didn't have to be gunned down like that, nor left like that out there like she was just trash. She didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve to have her lifeless remains shown across the TVs. Like she did. She did it, Henry Dinkins. So whatever you get won't be enough because your family get to come to see you. And my baby is just that, just gone. And never, ever, ever coming back as she left me July 9th, 2020. Peace, understanding, and forgiveness will never come. I also truly hope what you did to her will haunt you for the rest of your life. I'll hold onto those good memories we shared and not how you left her and how she laid across that damn creepy swamp place thing where you left her and said not one word. How could you? How could you be such a monster, Henry? I am thankful for the justice for Breasia-Terrell and my baby boy.
Mr. Dinkins, this is your opportunity to address me and tell me what you would like me to know before I pronounce sentence in this case.